All right, ladies and gentlemen, got your watch list coming into July 16th, 2019. And today was probably one of the most boring but exciting days, and it highlights a lot of the key points. And why do I say that? Because we closed today with a volume around 33.9 million, which is actually just below the day we had a half day before the 4th of July. So I thought that was very interesting, and again, setting up for some of these moves we have, it is very, very important. And the fact is, by the time we wake up, some of you might be watching this in the morning, what you are going to see is a lot of companies have already reported. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the plays we made, and I kind of do have another watch list to look out for. I'm not as confident to say these are the 1,000%ers, but I do think coming into Tuesday and Thursday and all that, we are going to get more clarity. So without further ado, let us get into the keys for tomorrow. Oh man, I can't forget though, before we do that, you guys know what you need to do. The most important thing here, you need to post your watch list below. Tell us what stocks you're watching at. Give us any sort of context. Say what you are long, this, put any option plays. We want to source information. So thank you for everybody who's been participating, and make sure we see you guys on the live channel. We are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. So that is pinned in the comments and the description. So now we could get into it, and drop a thumbs up if you find this video helpful. Actually, you have to do that so YouTube recommends you all of our videos. And again, coming into earnings season, a lot of people have asked this. People have looked into how we do option pricing when it comes to seeing what the market is telling. And the big, most important thing we've done so far, I always tell them, go to this video. We made a video in the past. You guys could search it. It's called something like options and earnings. Again, if you search that on my any sort of options and earnings on this channel, you guys will find it there. So let us get into those keys for tomorrow. I have some of the companies that are going to report for you, but we're not going to begin with those, and I'll show you guys. Yeah, we're going to get that right now. But I said this yesterday, and this was an important key. Again, this isn't the Stream Alerts advertisement, but this is, again, the importance here of how insurance works. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. ... But some situations, you guys really don't need it. So this applies to finding certain plays. And like I'm saying, yes, you guys need to get time, and it's better to get an extra week. But sometimes some of these plays are priced in so high on the options, it's unnecessary. Again, some people, if you are going to be on the stream live all the time, like you've never missed a minute, you've never missed a trade or anything, I'm sure you could get value out of the Stream Alerts because, I made it, but at the end of the day, it's something you're not going to really need as much. And then again, some people are forcing plays for earnings, and you're buying these bad plays. It reminds me, how many times people, it's like the person, you go buy like a $50 vacuum at Walmart and you buy the $35 insurance plan. It's like by the time you're going to go break that vacuum, you might as well just go buy another brand new one than dealing with the time for the insurance, and you're spending half the value. Sometimes you really don't need it. So again, despite, don't think that just getting time is going to save you, but how we are here, you guys, it's up to you to determine what the options are pricing. And what made me come up with this key was looking at Domino's, and we're going to see DPZ. They're going to be one of the companies here in the morning, but I didn't like them at all. When I was looking at, I think they're a good play, but at the end of the day, we want to see, I think it can move a lot, but how the options were pricing it, I was like, I don't need them. And again, the same philosophy. People have asked me, hey, Josh, are you going to play the bank stocks? And I say, no, I'm going to wait till after, because I don't really need insurance on it. Sometimes you don't really need it. So watch out for that. And the next thing I want you guys to focus on is expectations, because now this is related to the video as we've discussed with, how to price in the options. And sometimes you'll notice the option chain is pricing in, it could be a few dollars for earnings, and then you'll notice the stock will go up $4 or $5. And again, Domino's reminded me of this because all throughout the day, it was pricing in about $8 for its earnings, but even though it moved $10, it still kept the same pricing. So you can use the option pricing to give you some insight, but at the same time, you have to understand that the option, the pricing itself can still change, and it'll be the same exact pricing, but you could still miss a move, and that is going to affect the price. So keep that in mind. And again, we're talking earnings here, but now, like we've already talked about just in general, watch for the low volume. Some people are saying it's good for the sellers, buyers in general. any sort of lack of volume could be seen as less conviction on either side, up or down. That's why I view it. And again, we just had really, really low volume compared shorter to even to a half day, which I think is quite baffling. But the move in the next few days could be bigger as, more reports and earnings reports come out. Again, you see the companies that are reporting tomorrow. Those are going to give us a lot of insight into what's going on. And again, if any developments, like we did see the cryptocurrency thing today from Mnuchin, you saw Trump had his speech, all that. So these are factors that can have an effect. And again, I don't know if I have to reiterate it, but what we're watching out for too now, earnings is kind of the third thing we're watching. But the real big aspect that we're keeping an eye out for is the Fed. We want to watch the Fed, and we want to watch what's going to happen here if Trump throws any sort of wrench or walking back on the China trade deal or trade truce. And lastly, my friends, watch for individual movers and not the indexes. A lot of people with the VIX, the SPY, you're going to see ups and downs and all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, I would keep more of a concentration on these individual stocks and these companies making big moves. Again, even the plays we made and the plays I'm trying to find, they're going to be the ones that do their own thing. They kind of are loosely tied to the market, but watch for individual movers, especially in this type of marketplace coming into pre-earnings. So that pretty much wraps up that. But now we have our companies reporting tomorrow. So in the morning, right off the bat, we're going to get JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and Johnson & Johnson. Now, there is other companies reporting. These are the ones that I think are the most important. As you guys see, it's going to be these bank stocks. They are going to have a big effect. And right off the bat, you're going to see them move. I would look to how these respond. And if they all do things similar, watch the overall industry itself. But then at the same time, we do want to keep our eyes out for the ones that are going to diverge. And then again, now too, you're going to get stocks like Johnson & Johnson. And now this is even what I kind of wanted to bring up, is that these expectations and even then, what I was going to say, because there's some companies, even though we're getting the banks and in some of these conglomerates reporting, you're going to have companies like UNH, and you could tell by the option pricing, they're charging a lot for those premiums, and it's not really a good player. At least in my opinion, I think they're too expensive, and you don't need to play them on there. But keep an eye out for those. After hours, you're going to get transports, Canadian Pacific and CSX. Those are going to be both important. Then UAL as well, and then CTOS if you guys are unfamiliar with that. But I think UAL can have a big effect, and I'm going to keep my eyes out for that one. But in general, how these transports move are going to be, I think, important. I'd watch IYT, but enough of those plays now, baby. It's time to get into the watch list and the main plays. So I want to go over the plays that I made today, talk about some of the option plays, and you guys could get an idea of the plays we're looking at and get a general idea of what I mean and what I'm trying to do by holding off on some of these plays to even Thursday and Friday. So right off the bat, one of the main ones that we made today was Shopify. And you guys can see here, I actually fat fingered it. I don't know how it happened in the morning. I meant to buy one of them. And again, I was doing one through the weeklies. And then I went to the next week, and then I thought I bought one, and I ended up getting up 10. And then I was, I didn't really panic too hard. I was able to sell them out at 8 cents. So I did make like $4 or $5. And then I just kept the one I wanted to hold. But this was something I talked about today on stream. The important part about it was, why did I get, this has to kind of do with time. Shopify wasn't an earnings play. But you guys remember, I've been documenting this on the watch list. And again, I remember somebody brought this up, and, the potential, and this has to do with that same exact pricing, is that pretty much what Shopify prices out a week or two more, pretty much is once you start getting further at the money, you could essentially get the next week for about 15 cents more and just be a few more dollars outside of the money, but that difference is very marginable when it comes to, percentage and probability. So therefore it made more sense. I was going to get the weeklies, and I wasn't getting filled. The spreads were too big. I couldn't get filled at 65 cents. I tried a shittier contract. I couldn't get filled at 45 or 55. And then I remember the bright idea clicked with me because I was like, well, I'm not going to go spend, higher than $65 on a weekly. I was like, okay, if I'm going to go do that, I better get a little bit more time. And that's where we were able to find these 345s. And again, we went out and got them for that week. The last trade was at 185. We bought them this morning. You guys saw it, 79. Look at that. That's all the Colt going crazy. You guys saw that. We did that live. So make sure you are there 30 minutes before open. But I like that play, and that's going to be one to watch. That's one of the first ones we made, and I think that one's going to be good to just give it time and see. But the key with Shopify is watching how it both inverses when the market, and again, look at the market didn't do much today, but Shopify still had that big move. So pay very, very close attention to that, because what that's doing is giving you a lot of insight into the stock itself, and it's letting us know where's rotation and just strength for you to identify throughout the whole day and the whole week. There's that. The next play is Semantic. Oh, Raytheon came up. I would watch that one as well too, but we also made a play here on Semantic, and they dropped substantially today because, again, out of nowhere, people said that the deals have collapsed for Semantic to get bought out by Broadcom. However, there was a rumor that went around that Qualcomm still could be interested, and again, the call activity went crazy, but you guys could see what happened with the stock. It shot up. They had this deal, the buyout deal, and again, this goes to show why buyouts, one, they're profitable when they work, but again, especially in this day and age with some companies both backing out or even anything along the lines of antitrust, there's so many things nowadays where these deals, they're not confirmed, and the stock dropped. But then this rumor, I've yet to confirm it, but I still think it's believable. So again, the fact they got a serious offer from Broadcom, and then now what we've even said about the whole space in general, Qualcomm is now saying that they'd still be interested in buying them. And again, we didn't see a reaction in Qualcomm stock. However, the stock kind of started to bounce a little bit off that news, got volume, and we got these 27s. I got these about like 13, 14 cents. Then they came down. They didn't really hold up too good. And the point is, why didn't these contracts go up? Because 27 is just actually slightly above that buyout price they were initially at. So, they were at 26 or 25.50, 25.88. So people probably aren't expecting these ones to do good. These are probably the top end of a lot of people's butterflies, to be honest. But that being said, it doesn't mean I would not keep this on watch to see how this plays out, because if it does turn into any sort of bidding war, anything like that, I think it's very interesting, and I'd watch any other plays. We played it for a reason. The next one is Cigna. I got a weekly on this one because we wanted to play UNH, but UNH was way too crazy because UNH is going to have earnings in the morning. So I figured we'd play this 185. I think we got around 30 or 40 cents, something like that this morning. I'll have to check the Robinhood account. But the whole point with this play is playing it as a sympathy to UNH. And again, Cigna did have that good news off the White House. And honestly, they were fairly cheap, especially as they're dropping here now. But if Cigna stalls out, then it's going to be a no-go. But watching kind of UNH, and if there is any sympathy reaction, that is the key. And the key with that play is also noticing the sympathies for stocks that are going to be having earnings, because again, sometimes, like, and UNH is a perfect example because the options are priced so high, you could find an alternative that will really get influenced by the stock or by earnings without having to pay that crazy premium. So there's that. And lastly, we got FedEx. So now this play I think was decent just because it held its value. But again, with UAL, CP, CSX, all that, transports can have an effect. But now this is what I want you to look out for, is that FedEx isn't going to go up or down with them, but it might most likely will do the opposite. Or again, with FedEx doing so good this last few days on its own little rally, if those transport stocks like CSX and CP do bad, you could watch FedEx carry weight, or vice versa. If they do good on earnings, you might see FedEx go down or at least stall out. I believe we got either one of these ones or these. I really have to go double check on which ones. I'm totally blanking here. I'm just too excited, getting ready for tomorrow, baby. But pretty much, it all depends on if the underlying is actually going to have a chance to move. But if you could start to get $2 or $3 or $3 or $4 out of the money, $2 or $3 at the money for less than 30 cents, these are just at like $4, then you can actually start to play these. So that's what I'm watching for. We scaled in one, and now we'll skip to the end because those are what the plays I want you to watch. I also want you to watch Raytheon and Boeing. And again, Boeing made interesting moves, and I think Boeing is going to kind of do its thing until it reports and then collapse. But watch these plays in the morning. There's going to be Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, Domino's, and like Wells Fargo, I think Goldman Sachs, JPM. This chart was meant for the earnings ones, but now I have plays I want to look at that I really want to push to the the option wall, but McDonald's and Home Depot. But this is what I want to point out, especially with these weeklies. Even FedEx applies as well too. Today was a Monday, so, and I said this on the stream, we made a few plays, and sure, they could be decent plays and we could like them, but chances are buying a weekly on the Monday is going to result in a loss. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is wait till Tuesday or Thursday comes out, then we could get a better reading on these prices and start to identify, hey, these prices are looking good, these prices are going to hit, and so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say is that these are expensive, and it makes sense. Monday, there's more unexpectedness and uncertainty than there will be on Tuesday. There's no need to pay for it. Again, you might lose out on some opportunity cost if it does run from you, but have no fear, at least you got to keep your money. So really the main plays I'm bringing this up on are Home Depot and McDonald's, whereas yes, they could make big moves, but if you guys noticed last week, it made the biggest moves towards the end of the week, and that is when the contracts went down. So this is going to blow your guys' minds. I want this play right here. I really want the 215s, but I'll settle for the 217s. If it does make a break of 220 and holds up there tomorrow and gets even better, we can consider these 225s at this price. But fairly, really what I want these 217.50s. I know this is about to blow your minds here. I want these at less than 40 cents. So I want you to keep that in mind. I kind of don't want to explain more of it because I want you to watch how that contract moves and think about what I'm telling you. You guys are like, Josh, it's at $2.13. How's it going to get there, Josh? I don't think it's going to go there. Oh, man. I mean, that's something, again, there's heaven or hell with these contracts, baby. So hopefully you've been paying attention and seeing, but that's the price I want on that for it to be a buy. Otherwise, we are going to have to wait and push it to the wall. There's that, and then there's going to be McDonald's, Mickey D's, and kind of something similar. I think 215, I want these of around 20 or 30 cents. 217s, I'm not too sure, but the key is, I could do the 217s around this price if it could confirm, but we have to watch how they play off in the morning. But again, even these ones at the money, these 212s, I want these around 40 or 50 cents. And the whole point I'm trying to tell you guys is that these are at higher levels than they usually are. Yeah, they are at new highs, and it's either going to sit there and hold there, or like most instances, it might come down for a little bit, or even at open, it might just fall out the money for some period and then come back up, and you could even see how some of the Facebooks traded today also. So watch those two. And to wrap up the list, I also want to watch Microsoft, and we're going to keep those out on lookout for tomorrow. I don't have a full set of plays that I want yet, but I will be. And then lastly, take a look at Beyond, Zoom, and NVIDIA. All three of these companies I like. Beyond was doing great this morning, and it kind of had a good history, and then it fell off, but watch that. Watch Zoom. This one has just been catapulting and doing good, and some of the options are expensive. It's up 7%, but these are same exact logic with some of those plays. The minute they fall out the money, they could be good. And watch other IPOs now that Zoom is doing good. And then lastly, NVIDIA, and you can see I was trying to get Qualcomm in there. I want to watch Qualcomm, but NVIDIA, it kind of sold off. It burned today. Didn't do much of a movement, but that doesn't change, what we might even see with the option chain. It's $5 away for 70 cents, but then around $7? Just about $7 for 30 cents. That's a decent price. So again, this is what I was saying though. These expectations are going to hold up. However, if the likelihood of this thing running up isn't there, these aren't going to be good. But remember, securing less than a $6 move, or it's less than an $8 or $6 move for less than 50 cents on NVIDIA, we've usually always profited on it. But again, you need to verify that the underlying is going to move and it has those catalysts. So hopefully that helps, my friends. Hopefully you did your part to help out, have dropped your like and posted your watch list, and hopefully I'm going to see you there in the morning. Let's go! Oh, and enjoy your night. Bye!